Next on Heisman Talk, all you need to know about the ACC during the offseason. And here's your host, the Nate Dogg.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Heisman Talk. Today is part 2 of ACC recruiting, and today we'll be talking about the Coastal Division. And in my opinion, this is my favorite division in the ACC. Obviously, Clemson's in the Atlantic, but I feel like a few teams in the Coastal Division are on the rise this year. So let's jump right into it. First off, we're going to talk about Miami. Manny Diaz has done an impressive job taking over from Mark Richt. Obviously, they come off of a disappointing season at 7-6 last year, but they finished number 2 in recruiting for the ACC and number 13th overall in the nation. So that's pretty impressive. They bring in Derek King from Houston as a transfer quarterback, and they obviously have Tate Martell competing with him as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, they bring in a notable freshman in Chance Williams. He's the number 7 defensive end in the nation, 6'4", 238. You know, when you look at a kid like Brian Breezy that's coming in for Clemson, you often think of someone that's quick off the line, speedy, and can really get past you fast. But Chance Williams is quite the opposite, and yet so much more effective. He's a kid that's patient. You know, he stays in front of his blocker, and when the time's right, he sheds it and gets to the ball. Super strong hands. He's just a guy that really knows how to let a play develop, wait for the quarterback to come to him, and then he just attacks. So I find that really cool. I like I said, I see a lot of guys that are really quick off the line and focus on speed bursts, stuff like that, but I'm really excited to see what Chance Williams can do this year. So be on the lookout for him. I'm sure you'll hear his name called quite a few times. And then we go on back to the offensive side of the ball with Jalen Nitin, running back, number 10 running back in the nation. 5'9", 194, little guy, but super explosive. He's a one-cut back, and he's super fast. A lot of outside edge runs. Saw him a few times on special teams on tape. That looked really good. So look for him to be effective in 2 aspects of the game, in special teams and in offense. Overall, I think Miami's looking pretty good this year. I think they've got a good chance at making a run at the Coastal Division and possibly the ACC. But look no further than North Carolina. Mack Brown has taken over for North Carolina after being retired for a few years from Texas. Obviously won a national championship with Vince Young. He knows what it takes to win. He knows how to win. And he's really bringing that mentality back to North Carolina. For a while, North Carolina has been known as a basketball school. But now they're starting to get recognized more as a football school. They come off of a 7-6 season with a bowl win against Temple. And Mack Brown's got that team running well. Got a true freshman quarterback that'll be a sophomore next year, who's been looking really well. And by the way, if it wasn't for 1 or 2 plays, they would have beat Clemson this past year. So it's another team that has the ability to beat Clemson and take over the throne. Not saying it'll happen, but look out for North Carolina. Some notable freshmen coming in to help out the offense. Josh Downs, number 17th wide receiver in the nation, 5'10", 165. Comes out of North Gwinnett High School in Georgia. Super strong hands. I mean, the ball will be thrown horribly, and somehow this kid is able to just reach up with both hands and snatch it out of the air. Absolutely incredible to watch. And once he does break the tackle or catch the ball in open space, you're not going to catch him. So fast and quick. On the opposite side of the ball, you got Kendrick Bingley Jones, defensive tackle, number 15th defensive tackle in the nation, 6'4.5", 266. Never gives up on the play. Like I said, he's not the most explosive defensive tackle on the field. He's not the most explosive player on the field. But what he does is he's patient, and he plays until the whistle blows. But I think North Carolina has a really good shot at winning 9 games this year. I truly believe that. like I said, Mack Brown has done an incredible job with this team, turning it around. And yeah, I'm excited. I am so excited to see the Coastal Division of the ACC take off this year. I truly am. So then we go to another team that's making the headlines, Georgia Tech. For a while under Paul Johnson, Georgia Tech was a triple option threat. It was one of those teams that was hit or miss. They usually won about 3 or 4 games, but every now and then they would beat a Clemson or a Florida State in its prime, and they just kind of were Georgia. But with Jeff Collins coming in as their new head coach last year, he's flipped the switch and really just revived that program and giving the new energy that it's so badly needed. Atlanta is a hot spot for recruiting. I mean, the state of Georgia in general has so many top recruits coming out. So for Jeff Collins to come in there and take over, super thrilled with what he's done so far. Obviously, they come off of a 3-9 season, but they're trying to recruit in a whole new offense and a new recruiting system, Like I said, for a while, they were bringing in offensive linemen that were built to run triple option. Now they're trying to bring in some bigger guys that can help with run and pass protection. So it's going to take a couple years. But for example, some top freshmen coming in. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, 5'9", 191. He's the number 8 running back in the nation. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. They finished number 26 in the nation for recruiting, which I don't think Georgia Tech's had a top 50 recruiting class probably since maybe Calvin Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. Write in the comments if I'm wrong. So just to see that jump and that new energy come into Georgia Tech, it's really great job by Jeff Collins, by the way. And then, so back to Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, number 8 running back in the nation. Super shifty guy. A lot of guys nowadays are one cutbacks and they get upfield and they truck you or whatever. They get upfield. This guy's got jet speed for 5'9". I mean, he just blows past defenders. I've watched a few minutes of this guy's tape and he really jumps off. Super shifty. He can make all 11 guys on the defense miss at once. I mean, it's just, check him out when you get the chance. That's all I got to say. And then, again, on the offense, they bring in the number 10 quarterback in the nation, dual threat Jeff Sims. 6'3", 205. Didn't get to watch much film on this guy, but from what I can see, again, super quick, can get upfield when he needs to run. But he's also got a super quick release. That's one thing that stood out to me from his film was his quick release and his ability to just get the ball out on simple screens, on quick hitch and slant routes. But he's also got the deep ball effect too. So once again, look out for Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, Miami, and North Carolina. Look out for them this year. That's all I got to say. They're going to be super, super exciting to watch. And then we jump down to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has been up and down throughout the years. They've been in the top 25 as far as national rankings. They've had a few star quarterbacks come through, including Larry Fitzgerald and James Conner and a few others not to mention. But this year they finish off 44th in the nation for recruiting, number 8th in the ACC. Not the most impressive under Pat Narduzzi, but they look to make another jump. Last year they come off of an 8-5 season. Not the best, not the worst, but there's always room for improvement. Some notable signees that they've had under recruiting for the 2020 class would be Jordan Addison. He's the number 10 athlete in the nation. Didn't get to watch much film on this kid, but from what I can see, he plays great in the slot, super shifty, but look for him to make a huge impact in special teams. I've seen him a few times on kick return and punt return, and man, once he makes a few guys miss, he's off to the races, and you can forget about him. So be looking out for Jordan Addison under Pittsburgh. I think he's going to jump off the tape to a lot of guys this year. And then we look at Israel Abanikanda, I think is how you pronounce it. Running back, another guy that's coming in to make an impact. He even said in an interview that he came here because of the running back history and how much success Pittsburgh has had. Again, 5'11", 197, a little bit taller, on the taller side at 5'11". Needs to probably bulk up a little bit. I bet by the start of the season he'll be somewhere around 210, 205, around that range. He's number 30 running back in the nation, so not the best, but coming in pretty high. One thing that I noticed from him that I look for in a lot of running backs coming out of high school is his hands. A lot of guys just know how to run, but they're not very good with their hands. This guy can catch balls. He is very good at the screen, very good at kind of delay block and get upfield and get a quick pass in on the check down. Very balanced. He's a one-cut back. Makes one guy miss and he runs upfield. Not afraid to make contact by any means. I think I even saw one clip that he took off someone's helmet by trucking him. So that was pretty impressive. So, hopefully Pittsburgh can have another great season. 8-5 is probably more realistic considering, like I said, all these other teams coming up. I think Georgia Tech could come in maybe with 7 or 8 wins. Don't be surprised. And finally, we look at Virginia. Virginia. Wow. Virginia has had the most impressive seasons in all of their college football history. They finish off 9-5. They go to the ACC championship for the first time in school history. And then they make an appearance in the Orange Bowl against Florida, which, by the way, Florida's a very good team. Going to be one of the top 3 teams in the SEC, in my opinion. And they almost beat Florida. And so for them to have not the strongest recruiting class, still in the top 50, I think they finished 47th, I think, in the nation. It really shocks me a little bit. But, it takes a few years to grow a program, and I think Virginia is going to do just that. They bring in the number 8 offensive tackle in the nation, which, by the way, if you get a chance to watch this kid, and Andrew Gentry is his name, wow. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. He's so physical. That's the first thing I noticed. He just plows through people. He finishes the blocks, stands out to me. Out of all the people that I've seen in the ACC signing classes, he's the most impressive to me. He comes in at a whopping 6'8", 310 pounds, which means by the start of the season, he'll probably be closer to about 320 as a true freshman. Let that sink in for a sec. Wow. 6'8", 310 pounds. That is a big boy. And let me tell you something. I saw about 12 to 15 pancakes on his film, and I guarantee he's going to have about 20 more of those this season. I have no doubt that he'll be a starter this year. And then finally, we go to the opposite side of the ball, and Jonathan Horton. First thing I took down in my notes, this guy reminds me so much of a DeMarcus Ware. He's a defensive end, number 15 defensive end in the nation, 6'5", 215. Big kid, but kind of slim at 215, which helps him be a little bit more agile and flexible. He gets around the edge super quick, and he makes every opponent pay. I mean, when I say that, I mean it. You watch this kid hit someone, oh man. I mean, he hits him, and he hits him hard, and he does not let him go. So yeah, overall, I think the ACC is looking pretty strong as a conference this year. I think out of all of the teams, I think they could potentially have 5 or 6 teams roughly in the top 25, which is pretty good compared to last year and previous years. So I hope you really liked this video. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Comment below if you have any questions. Remember to subscribe to my channel below. And as always, this is Nate Dogg signing off.
You've been watching Heisman Talk. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date for the latest college football news from around the nation.